Welcome to Draw Process. I'm Ike, and we're on page 10 of my comic, First Son and Sword, number 3. And here's the page. This is the cover you see there. And here on the page, we have some small panels to just show this progression of the dancing leading to the night sky, everything settling down. And now we see a nice big establishing shot where they are now in their hut. You can see that Sword's already sleeping, Son's getting prepared, and Farah is watching outside. So we're going to see more of how Farah is hesitant, cautious. She's more of a cautious, critical mind than Sword, and this is interesting character stuff. There's all kinds of different perspectives on character archetypes and types and personality styles, and I don't actually adhere to any single model. I know that my characters need to have some diversity, but I more just feel it out as I go, as I experience the characters. I get a sense for how they should be. And I find it's an odd situation where it's almost better that way. If I had a real strict system I followed, maybe that could be good if it was developed through lots of experience. But there's something about trying to capture something that's beyond describing, that you can describe, that you end up discovering interesting things. And so something I discovered with Farah is that, what's her background? Why is she an apprentice to Sword? Why does she not branch out on her own? In what way is she still learning? Is she not fully developed? She's very skilled. Why does she need him? So obviously there's an attachment to him because he became like a father figure for her, as she has been with him since she was younger, and he trained her. She has a very different background than he did. She came from slavery, suffering, weakness, and he came from being a prince. And it was, of course, for him, he had the trauma of it all being ripped away. But she didn't have that experience. And what I'm realizing is, for me, it feels right that she's more negative and cautious. So. And it's actually a theme to the book that she is strong and she can see pretty well, but it's not authentic for her. There's something insincere about it. There's something backwards about it. Like, her initial reaction to things is going to be judgment. It's going to be pessimism. It'll be like a negative reaction, a selfish reaction, and then she has to adjust and think about, what's the right response here? That way that she has to think causes her to not trust her instincts, to not be quite attuned, with herself, and quite as effective at following her instincts. And even in battle, even in a fight, this is going to come up. So that's the thing that she hasn't learned yet, is the way I see it. That's part of her character journey. Her journey as a person is to find her innocence, and all that, letting go of judgment. And so that's fun. And it'll come up in this story because we're going to see again and again that Sword is he's quick to act. He goes off of his instincts. He's not overly critical or ruminating about things. And here she is. She's going to ruminate. She's going to be tense about it. He's peacefully sleeping. The story, I guess I can say more of it, after you have seen more of the story, unless you bought the book already. But it was interesting the way the story came together. and I feel like it's not. It's pretty subtle. It's not beating you over the head with a message. There's not an especially dramatic moment. But there's something to me. It depends on how someone feels about it. I guess someone might find it to be a little dry, a little stiff, because they're used to something more dramatic in terms of story and emotion and stakes, even. But to me, the reaction could also be that it feels kind of authentic, kind of. It might be hard to look away. These are real people, and you don't know what could happen next, like in real life. And it may not look that flashy, what happens, but it's very important. There's something important about what happens, even if it doesn't seem like much happened. It's hard to talk about that, but it just seems very interesting to me. The way to make things feel important to the reader, without simply thinking of it as raising the stakes, raising the motivation for the characters, the danger, the dramatic action, the expression of emotion. Um, maybe there's something to that. It seems to me that there's a lot of writers who, or movies today, for example, where uh, the to make things feel more intense, they just have people express more emotion. The emotion is just expressed more strongly, more loudly, and somehow that's supposed to feel like it's more important. Um, and I don't think that that's how it works. I mean, I know that I've experienced, stories, movies is the main thing I consume, but um, where that greater intensity actually kind of tunes you out at a certain point. It doesn't actually reflect something that matters to you. Um, so uh, so a story that feels like it's saying something about the meaning of life, about values, about what's important. That is raising questions about, getting you to question the way you see things, surprising you as if it's from an alien world. It just really gets you thinking. But even that relates to what's important, what's valuable. Um, I like stuff like that. So there's some of that in my story too. There's a little bit of um, the communication of worldview. Um, Now, someone might think that I'm communicating sword. Um, Sword's worldview is like the right one. Not exactly. Like I am trying to capture how I feel he should be. Like what's his way of thinking and living, and it is something that it's admirable in many ways, and it's something that reflects things that I think and learn. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be able to write it. Um, but it's also not there's I've been thinking and trying to figure out in what ways his views will be challenged throughout the story. What will be the challenges for him? And so it's not perfect in my eyes. It's not like he's fully arrived. But I at the same time I do want him to feel like a very wise and experienced person, a very high quality person, and I and that's really something I focused on this issue. Is I want to convey what he is like in Farah, especially the two of them. Son, there's much less um, of that for him, but I really wanted to convey what the two of them are like, especially Sword, um, and to give you kind of a baseline of what it's like for them, as the way they go through life, the way they think, and so on. And so I'm in it for the long haul. There's going to be lots of opportunities to to tell different kinds of stories, and and just kind of using this to kind of establish the characters in their world seemed like the right choice so early in the story. The first two episodes, in a way, they function like the pilot, um, or like an initial movie before the series starts. It's like it's just trying to like really get you invested, give you a sense of things, like an excitement for what could be here. Um, it's not. It wasn't meant to tell the whole story. It was meant to establish the world and kind of some excitement around it. So there's something about it that's very. Um, I guess it's more flashy, or it's. Um, yeah, I guess it functions like an advertisement, and I guess we could say a movie. Um, and then this marks the start of the longer form project. So in a sense, this is where it really starts. So something with the style. There's a lot of scratchy lines. I have thought about my hatching technique, and I know I could do it in a much cleaner fashion with parallel and crossing lines and so on. But in doing so, I might also need to rotate the paper as I go to give my hand a better angle for these things. Um, but I really do uh, like the messiness of the way I'm hatching things in. To me, it looks like I drew it. It looks sketched in, sketchy, drawn in by hand. I like that look. And yeah, it's more raw. It's a little more. I guess it could even be a little bit more horror, just a little more dark in a sense than if it was really clean. But I'm still playing around with this because this it does take more time to put in so many lines, and I really don't have to do that everywhere, um, because I'm using ink wash also to convey depth and objects and things. So I wouldn't have to do it. I'm still experimenting with it, but at the same time, the blend of the two is pretty neat because I can have a cloudy shadow, but you get the sense that there's things in the shadow, because there's lines underneath, and I really like the way that feels. That sense that like you can't quite make out what things are, but you know something's there. There's hints that there's something there. If I was doing my former style that was solid blacks, there's no hints of things there. Um, the hints at the things actually it makes it feel more realistic. It makes it more interesting. I think it's more realistic, but also it can be scarier if it's a horror situation because you feel like you're looking that there's things there. It gives a sense of movement because that sense that something is there is something you might experience if it's like video, right? If you're there in person, um, there's a slight movement, to the shadows and stuff. Maybe even just you moving your head around to get a different look at things. You can tell, there's something there. So you get that sense of aliveness that way too. Um, and you can see that I'm so unsure of what to do here that I even at this point decided to hatch in the sky and then cover it mostly with black ink. So figuring that out for the future so that I can get a more efficient way of doing it, um, and hopefully that I enjoy it. It reflects kind of the mood that I want, that feels good to me, um, and all that. Obviously, I don't want to just pursue efficiency. If I'm only pursuing, how do I get cleaner and more efficient, I might lose the character, the mood, the storytelling. So I'm not trying to do that. Um, looking at my art lately, I feel like getting better at drawing figures and expressions and stuff from imagination. That has probably been the most important skill that I've developed over the years and want to continue to develop. And of course, that relates to being able to put figures in a physical space and layer them. You know, you can have people in the background and they're smaller and the perspective feels correct without fully working it out. It's just kind of, you just feel your way into it, sketch it out pretty quickly. That is that I'm getting better and better at. And getting where I'm trusting myself to just do it. I know that years ago I would have been more meticulous because I was also doing solid black and white, black and white with lines, but like really clean, simple lines, just a few of them, and then solid blacks. And I know that I would have been much more meticulous with these scenes with the people, and I actually wouldn't have even been able to convey such a rich scene in such a small panel. I wasn't able to do that with the way I was drawing. And now I can convey whatever needs to be shown in a small panel, and or in a large panel, whatever I need to do. So I can see that there's something getting very very comfortable and more authentic with just drawing the way I draw. I look at this, I see flaws, I see ways it could be cleaner and more solid, and yet it's doodled, it's drawn by someone, and that's noticeable. Someone actually drew this, and that's a nice quality. I want it to feel drawn. So here's the finished page. You'll see how I handled the light and shadow of this hut. You can still, there's kind of some lighting, but it's not completely black. And once she closes the door, it's even darker in there. And I left it pretty dark in the last panel to show the night sky and the huts. So we've reached a peaceful, quiet moment in that last panel, which will be just before some action, just before a new scene. And that's it for today. Remember, you can keep up with the webcomic, which keeps pace with the videos, or you can purchase the whole book or PDF of the book if you'd like to read the whole thing now. And I hope you find this useful. I'll see you in another week.